everybody to this
Yep.
regular season wrap up. As we well know, the season has just ended for KMR, and we're prepared to go to the regular season, or rather to the chase. I don't know what I'm saying, regular season for. We're ready to go to the chase. And so, we're going to wrap up what happened during the regular season, some highlight points through each week and what we had going on. And we'll talk about some drivers that have a shot to taking home the championship. One of those drivers that have a shot is also my co-anchor, three-time champion driver of the 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet Fractured Chain. What's up, Fractured?
Not much.
All right, man. Well, what is your assessment of this season thus far? Pretty wild, huh?
Shocking turn of events.
Yeah.
It really was.
So if you had a highlight of this season, if you could sum this season up in a nutshell, what would it be?
Absolutely crazy. Daytona really set the tone for this season, if I'm going to be honest. How crazy that race was, those last 10 laps around Daytona. Bunch of wrecks, huge hitters going down, and then the photo finish between the two JGR drivers. That was pretty wild. And then, of course, the JGR collapse around week 3 of the regular season. Pretty hectic.
Yeah, I would love to see when you start the season, there's so much promise. This league is maximum drivers allowed is 20. And so it creates a bit of a challenge atmosphere. It creates its own challenges. One of the things is split parties. So you have 10 drivers on the racetrack that you can hear. You have 10 drivers on the racetrack that you cannot hear. And so you really have to rely on the in-game spotter, or have to rely on other drivers, or really have to be cautious of what you're doing out there in order to be able to, be able to function out there on the racetrack. And that's always a big thing. And so we started with so much promise, and now we're down to
Dimmed
what?
out.
13 drivers.
13 drivers.
How did we get here? Well, it was pretty tough. We got here partly because individuals didn't show up. We got here partly because individuals decided, you know what, I want to hang it up. And we got here partly because we don't know what happened. But we've got a lot of good drivers left preparing for the chase. So let's start with the driver with the number 1 seed coming through. Fractured, was this a tough season for you compared to what we've seen in the past? What was your thoughts coming through this thing?
Well, my thoughts definitely were not to have as dominant a season as I did last season. I really didn't. I didn't score as much as I wanted to, but I guess when you have a good season like you did last season, your standards are definitely way higher than they'd normally be. But it's after I took my little break, I don't know what happened, my controller started to have issues, and it started to kind of affect my performance. And Atlanta really was a heartbreaker. I couldn't get any speed, but Kentucky, don't even get me started.
You brought it up, not me.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
One thing we've seen all season long, well, coming from last season into this season and beyond, we saw the big shakeups. Okay, so you had RCR, who was this big juggernaut of a team. You had all these drivers on the team, and we saw that juggernaut break up. And then we look and we saw one part of that juggernaut team go to Joe Gibbs. We saw one part of that juggernaut team, which would be you, go to Hendricks. We saw the other part stay put. A lot of expectations for each of those teams. Let's talk Hendrick. You got Dale Jr. You joined Dale Jr. in the 88. You joined the All Guns in the 5. And you got Slothy that comes aboard this season, returns to the league. Now he's on board. As a team, how would you assess your regular season?
Exceeded expectations, definitely, with those drivers. All of us. I only thought at least the three, me, All Guns, and Sloppy to get in to the chase, but Dale snuck his way in there, and I was so happy for him to sneak in there. But if I'm going to think about it, the only way he got in was because of the guys that left, and it really just left a clear ticket in.
So, what's the expectation going in for Hendrick Motorsport?
Get as many as we can through into the round of 6. Get Sloppy and All Guns through. I want to get Dale in the top 8. But just get as many people to get to the round of 6 or get close to it as possible. Get all of us in. Lock us all in.
Yeah. And it'll be good to see Hendrick Motorsports have a good season. The complete team have a good season and not just one part or 2 parts.
We definitely improved since last season. These guys have a great deal.
I can say so. I can say for sure. So let's talk about some of the other teams we had out there. Stewart Haas, which we'll talk to the team captain of Stewart Haas in a little while. Stewart Haas started as a Juggernaut. You had Lone Paintbrush leave Joe Gibbs. That was a headline. He goes with her Stewart Haas. We had someone by the name of Dead Skeleton who joined Stewart Haas, and then of course you had the 4-car Scott or Snipe. He joins Stewart Haas, and all of a sudden Stewart Haas is looking like a all 4-car champion deal going on here. How would you rate their progress coming through the regular season?
I think it went down, definitely because of the amount of people that left. And once again, I feel so bad for Ghost. Another season of opportunity in SHR, another season where he is the last one standing. It's sad to see that, but Ghost has really done so much for that team. And I mean so much.
Approaching the start of the regular season, Ghost Train had many offers come his way, including an offer to run at RCR. Turned all that down to continue to run with this team. What a degree of loyalty to that team and that organization, and it has paid off. 3 straight seasons where he makes the chase. Now can it be at least 2 out of the 3 where he makes, or 3 out of 3 where he makes the round of 6? If he made the round of 6, Fractured, in your opinion, can he win the championship?
I'm looking 3 Forza races to end the round of 6. We got Road America, Daytona, and Homestead. It's possible, but he's got to be able to get through the first 3 tracks with top 3s, top 5s, and at least 1 win. He needs at least 1 win coming into the final 3 races of the season. He needs to have something on NASCAR Heat. He needs to have a burst.
That by far has been his weakest area, is the ovals. And it's amazing. Normally we think the opposite way for the majority of drivers, that they start off hot on the ovals and their struggle is traditionally the road courses, but that's not the case this time. Now we have a driver that has struggled notoriously on the ovals and really excels at those road courses that we've seen thus far this season. So we'll have to see what happens with Ghost Train, but that team has really done well. Now let's talk about a team full of disappointments, and that would be Joe Gibbs Racing, because Joe Gibbs Racing started the season with the top and highest expectations. They had some of the best and well-known drivers on their team. We talk about Racer Dude, we talk about Forte, who averaged 6 wins a season. We talk about Sky, who
Racer Sky.
road course warrior pro Darth. who was able to. What happened to Joe Gibbs that they went from having the best team in the league to being non-existent?
One went and they all followed. Obviously, Forte departed early, and it's almost like he really just said, "Racer, you need to come with me." Sky stayed with it, but these last couple weeks hasn't. I guess he's done, but I think really Forte kind of drove Racer out just a little bit. Not saying he did, but I don't know. It's hard to say what happened down there. I went through the mindsets of their guys. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on what's gonna happen now, coming up next season. What type of revenue, what type of interest that they have garnered throughout the season, that maybe they can fill those positions and get someone there in those seats there at JGR, so that they can begin to be seen again. Those are popular numbers, popular team. So we'll more than likely see more seats in JGR field next season, and especially in a transition year. All right, so
every year JGR has new drivers. I mean, that's every year they always gain someone.
Yeah. So we see week 1, week 2, week 3, we have a league full of drivers. We max out almost in attendance. Then week 4, we start to see a decline. Drivers starting to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna take my talents to the couch, if you will, or somewhere else. And so with KMR entering its 3rd season in the modern era, how would you classify the health of KMR as a league itself?
It's growing. We're definitely getting more drivers to come in and more out, but something that we're going to have to do is be able to keep more consistent drivers rather than start with 20 and then end with 13. I mean, I think it is healthy. It's just we need drivers to stick with it.
Couldn't be better said. Could not be better said than that. And drivers that stick with it, we look at our top 10 as we flash now to the past several weeks. Look at our top 10 to 12 drivers are all drivers that have been with the league. Some drivers who have been with the league back when before it was officially KMR, when it was NASCAR Cookie Monsters, NASCAR 15 or 14 race league. Talk about Dale Jr., we already talked about him, but what about the return of a longtime veteran in Speedy? How much has that meant to the league and to the health of this league?
I personally never thought I'd ever see the day where he steps back in a race car, but I think it's going to give a spark back to the league to have another veteran, and they're slowly coming in, but the veterans are coming back, and as we can see, Speedy came in, and he only ran for 2 weeks, but the driving improved greatly.
Yeah, it was a very settling atmosphere. You know, drivers felt comfortable racing with him from the very beginning. There were no major issues, and so that definitely leads to a lot of comfort. People can be relaxed.
I guess a lot of it as well was probably me and you hyping him up. They were ready for him, and they knew what kind of a racer he was already.
Yeah, we certainly went through the rants about how good he was, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's break down week 8, final week. Okay, so now we've got these drivers in the chase. Who stands out to you besides yourself that has an opportunity?
I didn't think I stood out this season, honestly.
That has an opportunity to win the championship. Who stands out to you?
I've sparked a rivalry with him lately, but I'm gonna say Jab. There's no question about it. Jab. He's been so good all season. And Forza races consistent, really consistent. Gets on NASCAR heat, top 5 car, top 3, even won a race. he has definitely got the potential to win. Definitely. You just cannot give up early when there are certain cars smoking the field.
Yeah, and surefire rookie of the year. I mean, without question.
Yeah, definitely.
He is put together a very, very good season, and it's just been a season that has really come together with him. When he first came in with that Chip Ganassi there, and he had Patrick, as his teammate. Even me personally, I had doubts as to what kind of team, what kind of driver coalition this would be. Both of these guys, rookies. Not a whole lot of history with KMR, but from the very beginning, he showed a great measure of maturity. He got better as the races went on, and now he's, now he's the top of the class right now, and looks to continue to get better. Just wait until he gets into the modern cars, the NH2 cars, and what type of racing he's going to be able to manufacture in those with that. So that's going to be something to keep your eye out for. My pick was coming into this thing, someone to keep an eye out for was going to be Paintbrush. This is another driver who has gotten consistently better as races have gone on. He has gotten consistently better.
He didn't just wait till that last week in the season to get his win. No, this season he took his chances as soon as he could.
And then it's kind of underestimated picking the right subs, not just having anybody in your car just so you can get points. Picking the right subs, it takes a certain amount of a good ownership. He's been a team captain for a really long time. He's a team captain there at Furniture Row. It's the reason why Furniture Row won the team championship, because he made the right decisions, not only as a driver, but as a team captain. He's saying, okay, I'm going to be out. It's a road course race. Well, who do I have available? Let me see if this guy can run for me that's a good road course racer. Why? Because not only is it just points at stakes, but now you have seeding at stake too. You see these drivers winning races, and you don't want to start down there at the bottom in the seeding and have to work your way up through the first round of the playoffs. You want to be able to get yourself in the right seating. That way you don't get a win, you're okay, you still there in points. You have a little bit of leverage over the drivers under you, or whether in front of you or behind you. So excellent decision making got him to where he is now. What a performance he had at Nürburgring as well, leading those laps, and did well up until the end. Almost winning that race. Paintbrush definitely more improved than he did last season. And this is a former most improved driver of the league last season. So what a performance he did this season. That's my standout. Keep an eye on that guy. If you had any driver out there that was a sleeper that you think could probably steal one, if you will, in the postseason, who you got, Fraction?
Sloppy. If he can get his spark, he's gonna be good. When I mean by spark, I mean a win. I believe if he wins, he's going to have momentum, and he's gonna build off that win to say, oh, I can win now. And then he's just gonna keep going, and then he can keep going, and then maybe have a shot at going and contending. But seeding is where it's gonna fall out, I think. For those guys that don't get wins, seeding is going to hurt them.
Yeah, definitely. And seeding slothy is one of those, because seeding is everything in this league. You don't think much of it. Think about this: in the points lineup, the person with the lowest seed is going to automatically start 20 points away from the number one spot, where you think, well, that's not bad. 20 points isn't bad, but put this in perspective.
That's a lot.
A win gets you 20 points. Yeah. A win is 20 points. So if you're 20 points back from the lead, you need to win. But not only that, it matters who's around you. How about if I get a win? What if I'm number one seed, I get a win, you need a win, you finish second, how many points have you gained? What other drivers are finishing well too? You haven't gained any points. And you only got 6 races to get yourself up there. Yeah, so
that's where every 100 driver except me stands right now, at the bottom in seeding. with who else? Um, I think it's just the Hendrick cars that don't have a win, isn't it?
And Wool, the rookie, doesn't have a win, but well, of course he won't be in it. He's not in the chase.
Chasers.
So out of your chasers, yeah, no, that's it. Lowest seed, that's it. All your Hendrick cars. So there you go. I mean, they're gonna have a battle on their hands. Can they get it done? As you mentioned, Slothy would be a sleeper. I got all guns as a sleeper. The reason why is I look at the schedule and I say, okay, well, last time we were in this position where all guns made the chase, in order to advance to the round of 6, of course, you have to have a win. If you win and you get a lock-in position, so that kind of helps with the points a little bit. And so you're looking at that seeding, and All Guns wins Richmond, which is a race that he won 2 years ago when it was time to get into the chase. On the closing laps of that race, goes in, sneaks him a win. Now all of a sudden, he's in the final round, the round of 6, chasing for a championship and $25. So you look at the schedule, it's kind of races that are reminiscent. He's been running extremely well of late. He started the season off kind of slow, but all of a sudden, as the season's gone on, he has picked up his momentum. A very good finish at Vegas, running really well at Atlanta, having confidence, running up there with the leaders. Now, instead of being passive and allowing the leaders to just blow by him, he's expecting to lead. He's expecting to be up front. He's disappointed when he's not. And that tells me that now that he's got the opportunity to get in the chase, don't be surprised if you see that 5 car sneak in there in the closing laps and try to fight for a victory. And we know that you get in there, anything can happen in the closing of those laps.
Especially in KMR.
Especially in KMR. You got that right. Especially in KMR. Well, it's been a darn good show. I mean, it's been. I've had a ton of fun in this league, even with the drivers coming in and out. We've had some good quality drivers come in. We got some good quality drivers stay in. It has not been easy to get these wins. And you look at the young talent that KMR has, they stick around. It's going to be tougher and tougher to get wins in this series. It's just plain and simple. And looking ahead to next season, that could be pretty tough with the adjustment of the new cars coming in and everything. So we got a lot to look forward to coming into the next season and coming into this chase and everything. A lot to look forward to. So this season, one of the features that is a part of this season that has not been in season past is the lock-in positions to next season. In the past, it's been the top 6 drivers automatically locked in. The winner of the All-Star race on the Sunday All-Star race locked in, and outside of that, everybody else is going to be looking at a qualifier. Well, that's not the case this season, because now you have more drivers with the possibility of a lock-in position, and now this season these drivers are going to have to fight to get themselves into the next season. They're going to be in a points battle of their own. So you're going to have the chasers chasing for a championship, and then similar to something like maybe the NIT in college, you're going to have these drivers chasing to get into the next season. Drivers that will include Hair Bear, Chevy Giant, Speedy, and the rookie Wool. Who you got fractured in this go round that you think could get you could get into next season?
Chevy Giant. I think if we're looking at between the two of them, the driver with the most talent, in my opinion, really, between them is Chevy Giant by a mile. He's quicker. I think he thinks smarter, and he's really just a lot better to race with compared to some others.
And you know, he's got good support and the team he's on, one of the things that burns him consistently is the the fact that he can't necessarily be at every single race. I think that's hurt him a lot this season. But yeah, I agree with you. I also think someone who's going to give him a run for his money is Speedy, because Speedy, though he lacks the experience of these newer model cars coming from the N15 series, and now he's been retired for a little while, and now he's back. It's still going to be. He still has the experience. He's been in these situations before. He is a champion. And so I think it's something to keep an eye out for, man. I think that Speedy could definitely be a driver that could sneak his way into the next season. And I know, I can tell you from experience, those qualifiers and Speedy don't necessarily mix very, very well. So I'm pretty sure that he wants to get in and stay in, and he has an opportunity to do just that. To get in and stay in. Gonna have to do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you had to give, we'll think about awards for the season. If you had to give season MVP to anybody, who would you give it to?
Rookie of the Year, season MVP. I'm not going to sound biased, and I'm not going to choose myself. I'm going to say the driver of the 27. Points champion, ran very consistent compared to last season's regular season, and 4 wins compared to last season's 1. Man, you're going to be something to look out for.
Well, I appreciate it. I was going to say myself as well. No.
Who are you going to pick?
That's a good question. Hadn't thought about it yet. Tell you one thing for sure. Of course, if you look at it from a wins standpoint, of course, then it would go to you, driver of the 24 fracture chains. I mean, 6 wins in the regular season. I mean, you won at every type of track. It wasn't just you won as ovals. You were able to win at road courses. You were able to win at small road courses, big road courses. You won the first ever appearance at Nürburgring. You were able to take home that checkered flag with a wonderful last lap.
First, and it may even be the last.
First section pass there at Nürburgring. Everyone's praying that it's the last appearance there. But
I gotta say, I beg to differ. I'm starting to kind of like that track. Even before I won when I was practicing the night before, I was like, ooh, I like this.
It's a really, really fun track, and one thing about it was the sectional cautions kept everything bunched up, kept for a good race. No one really got lost for miles and miles and miles in the woods. So, and it was a really tough track. You couldn't drive the other car. You couldn't race other cars. You had to race the track. If you didn't, you were going to be in trouble. So, but if we looked at it from that standpoint, of course it goes to the 24. But I look at it from an overall view. Like,
I would, if we were talking overall, I would say the 78.
Yeah. The 78 really showed something.
Had the road
overall.
course speed. Not trying to sound like why do I say this? Not trying to sound cocky or anything toward you, but I think he ran better at the road courses than you did.
He absolutely ran better than the road. Are you kidding me? I mean, by far, he ran better than me than at the road courses. It's no mystery. It's not a mystery about me and the road courses. I suck, so it's no problem. We can say it on public, Club Monster Racing, channel. I mean, I suck at road courses, so everybody knew that. So yeah, he had the speed at the road courses, definitely. Yeah, so I would say the 78 definitely in line for MVP. Of course, the stats and overall appearance will definitely judge whether he gets it or not. But I say that would be a candidate that would really be, someone that really deserves to be the candidate, or at least in line for MVP. All right, so most improved driver. Who you got?
Oh man, that's one of the harder decisions. But I'm gonna say Swift. I believe his speed has improved drastically since last season. He's not relying on these pit stops to get him these track position now. He's able to use his speed now to get him some places. He's not relying on that strategy to get him out front now. He can actually use his speed. He has confidence in his speed.
Tell you somebody who I think most improved driver from a season ago, and that's All Guns. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah, I can see it.
His whole demeanor about the races has changed. Like I said, the whole mentality from expecting to lose to expecting to win, or at least expecting to run up front. And the points speak for themselves. He's running, consistently 8th in points. He was 7th in points week 5. But he's ran about mid-pack pretty much all season long. He's ran about mid-pack. He started at the end of week 1. All Guns was in 6th place in points. And I mean, a season ago, nowhere near the top. This was somebody who you saw a lap down, and one of those drivers you on the radio saying, "Okay, move over so I can pass you because you're in the way." But now, I mean, you can't say that.
One of those drivers you'd be criticizing, saying caution, which he hasn't done it as much this season, if I'm going to be honest.
He hasn't.
He's been better with his caution calling this season than he was last season.
Because he's running up front now. He's not getting involved with a lot of cars. Now he has more room to move around, more room to battle and stuff like that. I mean, he has really turned the tides. And his statistics even show that. One of the things he's just missing, if he can consistently run in the top 5 and in the top 3, we're talking about a driver to look out for, because eventually, if he keeps knocking on the door like he is, he's going to get him a win. He's going to return to victory lane. Could be this season. We never know. But he is really knocking on the door. A driver you're going to have to keep your eye out on. You really going to have to keep your eye out on All Guns. I think, man, most improved, especially from a season to 2 seasons ago. All right. Another award that's normally given, the try again season. Who would you give that to?
It's kind of hard to give out. Maybe Wool Tortoise. We had some issues with him out on the track, but he showed up. He kept trying as hard as he could to get those good finishes. I believe if he keeps trying and keeps going at it again, he's going to find something.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I would say Hair Bear for the same reason. Hair Bear struggled, and he did come into the season a little late, his first appearance in KMR he's been in here since week 3, and again struggled from the very beginning. A lot of DNFs, some races that he couldn't make it. He struggled at a lot of the racetracks, especially road courses. I mean, that's something they really struggles at. So I just kind of look at that. We know Hair Bear has a lot of potential to run up front. He's done it before. He can run up front. He can be good. Now that I think it's good that he's joined with the 43 team. He's gonna have the
He's
tools
become
that
more
he
independent.
needs. Yeah, and so because of that, he's going to be able to concentrate a lot more on his racing. He's going to have some good teammates next season because of the alliance and the deal that that's going to happen in the off season. And so now he really can sit and hone his skills and focus. He puts in the work, and as long as he does that, the practice and everything, as long as he puts in the work, he's gonna do nothing but get better. But he continues to put the work in, and that's going to help him to continue to get better. As long as he puts that work in, he is going to get better. There's no questions about it. All right, so we have try again season. We have MVP, most improved driver. I think we know, but let's already say it. Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, definite. My definite pick would be Jab. I mean, without question. Jab is rookie sensation, and the fact that he's gone into the X Series and done pretty much the same thing. He came in here
as a surprise. If I had to say the biggest surprise this season, it's him. He came in here, we were like, well, we don't know what he's going to do. He's a teammate with Patrick's. I don't know if that's good or bad. But Patrick was the team owner, and he set Patrick straight. I mean, he took over almost as if acting like the team leader, and he just absolutely just started to control Patrick. Stick with it. Come on, man. What are you doing? And he just came out of nowhere, and he's earned a little bit of right to talk.
Oh, yeah. You know, when I see him run, it reminds me a lot of Ghost when he came in. And, of course, you know, Ghost Train, no doubt, is a rookie to the league. Not a rookie to racing, and it's obvious by his skill level. But this is somebody who, getting into the postseason, can't you see him, if he gets the right momentum, would be a threat to win the championship, just like Ghost. Ghost was there. He got himself in the right position to win the championship and was able to do it in season 1. So I can see him being one of those drivers that sneaks in there and has a shot to win that thing in this rookie season. So now all of a sudden we're talking about what's he going to bring his pro season? What is he going to bring his veteran seasons? He sticks with it, man. It's going to be a dangerous guy. It's somebody who's hungry for payout. He's going to end up getting it. He's going to end up getting it. Okay, let's talk about best team. Let's talk about the best team award. Who would you say is the best team?
RCR. If we're talking most improved, clearly it's Hendrick, but if we were talking MVP team, it's going to be RCR.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad stating this, so I'm going to state this in the third person as if I'm not with RCR, even though I am. I would say so too. RCR as a whole has been able to be consistent enough, and of course they've got all their drivers in the chase. And one thing that was a question coming into this season as compared to last season, and even dating back to the last season of N15. Last season N15, you had a Cookie Speedy coalition. You had Rat Rod, who had joined the team, or had joined the team and left, was going to come back, I believe. But you had Speedy and Cookie that just from the beginning took off, and then you come in season 1 of the modern era for KMR, and then you have Cookie, U Fractured, Forte, and they come through with 12 to 16 wins in a 22 race schedule. Just no hope for anybody. And then you go into next season and 13 races in the regular season. You end up breaking the record for most wins in a total season. That's including the postseason. And so then all of a sudden, again, the juggernaut breaks up, and the question was, is RCR going to be as near as good as they were before? A lot of people said no. A lot of people said, the best drivers have left. RCR has nothing. And then RCR picks up, they had to move pieces around. You had people come in, and like Pooch came in and was expected to be, one of the best rookies in the league. Surefire rookie of the year. Doesn't last very long. He has to be transitioned to, and another driver comes in, but they've worked with what they've had all season long. Swift has done his role. Um, um, uh, Chevy, when he's here, he has done his role coming in, and Cookie has really led. Excuse me. I have really been able to lead the team to success by consistent racing, by being consistent, not winning every race, but being consistent, gaining the points lead, not letting it go. And so now we'll get a chance to see what happens in the chase, and then of course in the off season, a lot of things that may happen, a lot of moving around, a lot of parts shifting here and there. So been really exciting in RCR compared to the other teams, simply because of the coherency, being able to have a team that's there and been able to be coherent. So definitely RCR, one of the best team thus far in the league towards the end of the regular season. Okay, so one more category to kind of look at: most disappointing driver in this season.
Oh man. I don't know if this is something to say, if I should say this, but I can probably say, from what we thought, Slothy. I came in here having my expectations for him being he's gonna win a race. He's gonna win a race, sure. But he never did.
Hello? So we seem to be having some technical difficulties with Fractured. Don't know if anybody else can hear me. But guys, I know a couple of you guys have been watching. What are your thoughts? You can message me in the Twitch, because I do have it up, and I'll get a chance to entertain your thoughts as we go along in this broadcast. There we've lost Fractured Chain. So he had picked Slothy, most disappointing driver. I'll tell you, most disappointing driver for me was we gotta trying to solve our technical difficulties. One of the most disappointing drivers to me coming into this thing was yeah, I saw that. One of the more difficult drivers for me coming into this season was Dale Jr. And not because necessarily because he did make the chase, which is good. It's great for Dale Jr. He was able to make the chase. But he's kind of caught in this skid that All Guns has been in for a really long time. It's good to see that All Guns has been able to break free. But the thing I'm looking at is that it seems like Dale is used to, has become accustomed to, and is expecting mediocre finishes race after race. I mean, it's just what it looks like, because race after race, he's been very upsetting. It's been almost 100 races, or over 100 races, well over 100 races, since we've seen Dale Jr. run in this league and go to victory lane. Last one was about midway in 14 at Las Vegas that we saw the 88 go to victory lane. That's you know, to be one of the elders in this league as far as age.
With Dale Jr. We were
yes,
talking
that's
him.
what I'm saying. Yeah, well, yeah. Now I'm talking strictly Dale Jr. going to victory lane, and that's a long time for Dale. It's a really long time. He ran in a couple seasons after that. He went to the long layoff. Now he's back, and a lot of expectation coming in for him in the first couple seasons, and it just doesn't seem like things have come together. And I don't know what would a change of pace or a change of scenery be good. Maybe switching to another team, switching drivers. Going to a different car number within Hendrick, going to a single car team. What is going to help Dale to get to the point where he's like, okay, I'm going to take this thing. I'm going to get this thing going. It's something that I don't know, man. I just haven't seen Dale take that next step. And see, what worries me is this fact. One thing's for certain, as these seasons have gone along, they've become more competitive. Now you've got Speedy back. Speedy is waiting for next season. I mean, big time. Each season that goes by, these leagues get more competitive and more competitive and more competitive. And I'm looking at his window and I'm saying, bruh, you don't have that long to go before you'll be running in the top 16 in points instead of the top 12 or top 11, top 10. You know, what's going to get you over the hump? You also have to look, not a lot of potential. He's not a younger man anymore. So, you know, you might say, well, how does that transition to the league, you know, or be a video game? Well, you think about it. The older you get, the more responsibilities that you're going to have as family, as a worker, as whatever. And so, you know, we're talking about not a lot of potential to practice, not a lot of potential to put in the race. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're going out of here with you know, no wins in the modern era and everything, no championships. You know, what needs to happen for him to be able to shift gears and take that next step? You were saying Slothy. What was your take? Because we had lost you there for a second.
I really did think that Slothy came in here with, I expected him to come in and win a race or two. That might have been too high, but he really didn't have too much compared to what we thought he would. He ran from 5th on back a lot of the season. He never did get, there were a couple bright spots, but he never did break the pylon in his expectations.
Yeah, and for someone who is a champion too, come in and see that kind of fall off can be disappointing. Once again, those watching, if you want to take the time to leave a comment in the Twitch and even a question you want to entertain, want us to chat about, feel free and more than welcome to do that. We're getting ready to have some interviews, some driver interviews here as we prepare to move on to the chase. The chance to meet some individuals here that have been running in this league quite consistently and been able to, we've seen here. How about this dude right here? His name is Ghost Train.
Goat.
His name is Ghost Train. He is a champion in this league, winning season 1 of the modern season. I want to make clear, guys, when you see season 1, season 2, season 3, that's not how long this league has been around. But that describes the modern era. Before it was KMR, it was something else. It was Cookie Monsters NASCAR 14 or NASCAR 15 race league. And if you want evidence of that, please see my YouTube channel, Club Monster Racing. Take a look at it. See some of those old school races we used to run back when this league was on NASCAR 14, NASCAR 15. Enjoy the rest of the season races as well, because that is what we had going on back then. So while we wait for Ghost Train to get in here, I'm gonna tell you, man, this league is really transformed over the seasons. You know, we had NASCAR 14 started off with 8 drivers. Only 8 drivers could compete. Then it went from NASCAR 14 to NASCAR 15 and 12 drivers could compete. And all of a sudden we jump up to 20 drivers. We started off the season with 20 drivers, 19 drivers. Fractions, you running, you got 19 drivers now. How does it change your strategy out there on the racetrack for someone who's still been able to run up front for most of the season?
It's definitely added more thought into what to do out on the racetrack, when to pit, what to do under cautions, where you're starting. Do I make this move? Do I not? How long do I wait? When do I push the car? Having more drivers, it's kind of, it's pretty hard. you may be quicker, but, you know, caution comes out, you have a terrible pit stop, and then you're back in fifth.
You know, one thing I saw happen at the Martinsville race, no one ever wants to remember that race. That was probably one of the worst races in KMR history. I thought the race with Destroyer was bad that season, good lord. But one of the things that I saw that I never really dawned on me, and there's Ghost Train, so you know what, I'm gonna hold that thought as we welcome in the Ghost. He's already got a championship, winning season 1 of the new era of KMR, and now qualifying for yet again another chase run. It is Ghost Train. What's up, man?
Hey, sorry I didn't come on in time. I was racing an online race.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Gave us some time to chat about something else. All right, man. So this is your 3rd straight season in the league, especially in the modern era. You already have you a championship, man. How are you enjoying this league thus far?
It's been pretty fun from like the first season. We gotta improve my oval racing because I honestly don't even have one win there. I feel like Indianapolis is probably my best chance. But I've had those last 2 races taken away. But I feel like I have a pretty good chance this season, as long as I get past the first round. Some really good races in the final round. It seemed like a lot of fun. You know, there's like a few NASCAR heat tracks and short tracks I'm pretty good at. And the only track like I'm worried about is Homestead, because that's the one I'm not very good at.
Yeah, last couple times at Homestead, we saw you get pulled home a 3rd place finish at Homestead in season 1, and then season 2, not so great a finish, but not a really bad finish either. And it's got the help that you've got Road America there to kind of set the tone for that weekend, and then a Daytona race where anybody can finish.
Yeah, I mean, Homestead I can definitely practice and try to get better at, but I've like done so much practice at that track and I really haven't seen any difference. Road America, I feel like I have a pretty good chance there. I remember we raced there last season, I almost won that race. Yeah, I lost a fracture, I remember that. And Daytona, that's like just card. It's mostly like circumstantial. You kind of have to find yourself in the right place in the right time. I mean, it doesn't matter how you like. It does require a lot of talent to run that track, but you gotta find yourself in the right place.
Describe your championship run, because again, you are a champion. So describe your championship run. What do you remember from that season?
From season 1. Alright, well, I remember from the very beginning of the season, like from Homestead, I remember, like, that race. I know Fractured won that. I came in 3rd. I felt pretty good about that. We raced at Daytona as well. Had a pretty good chance. Came in 7th. I remember wrecking on, like, the last lap. And like pretty much the entire season, I mean like when we went to the oval tracks in P at first, in Sim, I was actually doing pretty well. But once we transitioned to normal mode, that didn't really transition very well for me. And I still haven't really done very well with adjusting to that. I honestly feel like I'm pretty good at the oval tracks. It's just it was the simulation thing that we had. Hopefully that can turn around on NASCAR Heat 2. And then basically I got a bunch of road course wins during the off season, I think. Or it was only 2. I think I only got like 4 wins in total that season. And then like going into the chase, there was like a lot of road courses. I remember winning Bugatti Circuit, like the very first race we walking into the round of six. And then Sebring and Sonoma, I got a win at both of those tracks, which was really nice. But pretty much, and I remember pretty much that like tied me to fracture. Unfortunately, how many fracture I got race kind of just made me win at Dover. But it was a pretty fun season.
Yeah.
I mean, I gained experience, but you know, also ended up winning too.
Ghost, talk about the team aspect, because you know this league has a team aspect to it as well that rewards good team strategy. How is that? Has that been something that's been new to you in racing leagues, and how has that changed what you do, who you pick to be race with you on teams, and touch on that a little bit.
I actually have to go. I'll be right back.
All right, that's cool. That gives Fracture and that's a chance to chat a little bit. That was Ghost Train. So Fracture, what's the sound like from your end as far as Ghost is concerned?
Been very good this season. In last season he snuck in, and then season 1 he won the championship. But I think he's gonna start to be one of those guys that's gonna consistently make the round of 6 and consistently have top 5s and consistently finish good. As soon as he gets NASCAR Heat figured out, he's gonna have a good season. Heat 2 especially.
Yeah, if I recall, you know, his run towards the championship, that was right when we transitioned to that, you know, normal mode. Then it was kind of difficult for him to really transition to where, you know, he could be in the right position. Normal mode makes your car so very tight that it just really makes it almost, you know, you really have a big challenge in getting that car to turn and getting that car to really, you know, do what you needed to do out there on the racetrack. And that was something that Ghost was able to really do on sim that he couldn't really do on normal. And that has that made the difference. It definitely made the difference. Ghost, you're back?
Yep.
He's not back yet. All right, so while we're waiting on him to get back, let's take a look at what we have in store for the chasers, or for the chase, and guys that are looking in and you want to know what the schedule is going to be like, what races are going to be run in the near future. Of course, you can look at my website, www.thegamingriff.com, the official website for KMR and KMRX, and you can take a look at that and look at the schedules, the upcoming schedules for next season. Everything that you can and need to look for regarding this league is there. League rules. If you are interested in joining, please message me, send me a friend request, and get ready for the next season that is coming. It is coming. But we're talking about the chase here. Richmond, Texas Night, Chicagoland. There's Ghost back.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So, Ghost, we were talking about the team aspect of this league. Is that something that's been new for you, and how has that affected the decisions you make when it comes to getting a team and what you do out there in the racetrack?
Well, basically, coming into the first season of KMR, that was actually my first league overall. So I don't know if I want to say new. I mean, because pretty much everything was new to me. But I would say it's different from the other leagues I run at this point, because you definitely get bonus points and you get rewarded for having good team finishes. And the first season, I had Skeleton as my teammate, and he had Skeleton, and we tried working together to get good team finishes. I remember New Hampshire was a good race for us, which helped
Yeah, I
both of
do
us
remember that.
get up there. And then Scott came in, and we were like, we tried working out a lot of things, and it seemed to work out pretty well. I remember earlier this season, me and Scott were working really well at Daytona. Although it sucks that he kind of left because he was a really great driver. And I pretty much had my entire team leave. But it hasn't been a huge effect on how I race, because I try to race for myself and not really for my team, because yeah, I really just think about trying to win. But when it comes to like tracks like Daytona, then I try to work with them as much as I can, and we also try to help each other with setups and strategies, and to help ourselves out. But in the end, it's mostly up to you to get the good finishes. Can't really sit there and hold back just to help your team. Kind of have to drive for yourself for the most part.
Stuart Haas has definitely been one of those teams that you can always guarantee is going to have be good in the team points. Hasn't been a team point champion yet, but I'm pretty sure that's on the list. Now, you have been with Haas for all 3 seasons, and this is the 3rd season that you've come away from towards the end of the season with no teammates. Now, you have ran there, you acquired the bird rights, you're the team captain, you can decide what goes on your team. Could this be something that would be the norm now, where you say, you know what, Stuart Haas is mine, I'm going to race it alone? Or is there someone out there or something out there in the future that you say, you know, maybe this person will work well with me? What would be your thoughts on Haas's future and you with it?
Well, previously in the last 2 seasons, I've been pretty open to allowing a lot of drivers into Stuart Haas. I don't know if that's a good idea, because a lot of them haven't really done a very good job of really working with each other. I know there's 2 drivers that said, "Oh, I won't be in this team if you let him in," or like, "Can you tell him to like actually work with us or something?" And it was just a lot too much. So, and to be completely honest, some of the drivers that were on the team weren't even that great, and they were like starting a lot of drama. So, and like they kind of wanted me to like tell, all right, kick this guy out, kick this guy out, or bring this guy in, asking me to do all these things. But for the most part, I didn't mind allowing drivers in. But when it came to like asking me to do stuff for other drivers and allowing them to boss other drivers around, it just became too much. And I think I just need to start, being more picky when letting drivers in, and even choosing drivers to come into the team.
Fractures, you got any questions?
How are you going to approach the NASCAR heat tracks coming into these the last 2 rounds, round of 6 and round of 12?
Alright, well, the round of 12, I know that I only have 3 drivers to get past. Like, there's 9 drivers, so I need to make it to the round of 6. I have a few bonus points, and for the most part, I want to try to at least just get top 5s and run every track. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna win any of the tracks. And I would want to try and practice and get better, but I'm like really busy with a lot of things outside of racing. So I know this is our last season in Heat Evolution, so hopefully Heat 2 would be more of a turnaround. I know you guys are like planning on running Sim, but I haven't really tested out how the physics are in that game and how well I can adapt to it. So I don't know if improving my skills in Heat Evolution. I mean, it's just going to be short term since it's only the chase, and then next season is going to be like different, a lot different. So I know I just got to get past round 12, and I'll have a shot in round 6 for the championship. I don't know. I'm gonna sit here and say I will, but I'll try my best because I definitely know some of the tracks are gonna give me a good chance at getting the win or the championship.
Eric?
I'll tell you what, Ghost, I got a question for you. If you were to, would you recommend this league to anyone, to people that you meet? And if so, what would you tell them as to why you would recommend it?
Well, I mean, this league is a lot of fun. There's like, you gotta take it seriously though, because I know you don't like, because if you're in one of those leagues that have a bunch of drivers that just correct each other under caution and have like all these like difficulties and everything, but I know here like you actually get penalized for that, and you actually like get to the point and everything, like just get to the racing. Everything's pretty you have everything planned out, so that helps out with the efficiency of the league. It's a lot of fun. This is definitely a league where you can improve your skills. I know there's like people from all skill levels that are welcome in, so this can help you get experience and get better.
Ghost, we appreciate having you and being able to interview. I know I've been saying, you know what, I'm going to interview Ghost, 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 and could never get around to it. So I said, you know, if I'm going to start an interview, it's definitely going to be Ghost. It's going to be my first interviewee. I know there's someone else that's dying to get in here. Ghost, we appreciate you having it on. We're talking about not defending champion, but a champion, season 1 champion. And we look forward to seeing if you could repeat as a champion in season 3. So Ghost, appreciate having you, man. We wish you a good night.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we've got one more driver who we want to interview, and this driver we've talked a little bit about already, and you're gonna find out exactly who this driver is all about. He drives the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports. His name was Slothy Jello Jr. Now it's D4C. We want to welcome him in. And so while he gets mic'd up and ready to go, Fractured, man, I'm gonna tell you something. This next season is gonna be so fun. One of the new adjustments to this league that will withstand the life of this league. In times past, the schedule was very fluid. We've had at the Auto Club, we've had Kansas, we've had Kentucky, we've had Sonoma even be one of those teams or one of those one of those tracks that start the season. But no more. What we've seen this season is what we will see every season. The start of KMR will always be the Daytona 500. Fracture, what do you think about that adjustment? How has that changed the league and the seasons upcoming?
It definitely increases height, and it really. This season's Daytona 500 was probably one of the best Daytona 500s I've ever participated in. So fun! It was so a lot of smart driving out in that race.
Yeah, I agree 110%. That was a really fun race. That was, I mean, it was the wrecks, even, you know, the pit strategy, the teams working together, having as many cars as you had out there on the racetrack. It was not easy out there. Speaking of someone else who's not easy, D4C Sloth. What's up,
Howdy,
man?
guys.
How you doing, man?
Going, bud?
Good. Hey,
Good.
teammate.
Good to have you back in KMR, man. Are you having fun? How does it feel to be back?
It's great. I love being back in KMR.
Tell me, what have you enjoyed most about this season in KMR?
All the competition, especially on the mile and a half. The road courses are a little struggle for me.
What's it been like working again with Hendrick, and especially with Fractured, you know, being welcomed into Hendrick Motorsports, running your first qualifier? I mean, tell us, whatever experience have you had? Because you've been here from the beginning, from Daytona, you've been here. What's it been like, man, getting to this point where you're in the chase now?
Consistent. That's all I need to say. All you gotta do is be patient, wait for your moves, and when you get the right setups and stuff, you will go to the front. You will have a competition car. But the chase, it's gonna be a whole lot. But I'm gonna up the game. At 24 cars, not winning no more races.
All right,
got me on his bumper.
Whatever
You
you
heard
say.
it here first on Club Monster Racing.
Whatever you say. Mr. D4C Sloth, man, how long did it take you to come up with that?
Oh, man.
I'll see you out on the racetrack.
Shots have been fired. It's gotten really real up in here. Oh, boy. You said that you know, we just ran a road course tonight. We concluded the regular season with Silverstone. Didn't run very well. You finished a couple laps down. You look at the chase schedule now. You see Road America's there. It's the only road course, but it lands in championship weekend. So what are you planning to do to put yourself in the right position to win the championship, assuming you make it to the round of 6? What are you gonna do?
If I make it to the round of 6, I'm turning her up even more. So I've been running just calm and patient, and let everybody else take it back out. And then I just come by and say, see you later.
Yeah. Fraction, I know you got some questions for your teammate. What you got? What you got to ask?
What's it gonna take for you to win a race? What?
I gotta beat you.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen so
pits
easily,
and
so you've already said, nah, I'm not gonna win. I'm gonna just let him win all the races, right?
You know I could have hold you up tonight.
I know you could have, but you knew you were getting out of there had you done it.
Hey, it's gonna be a whole lot more. Road America's my track.
All right, that's actually my
You're
track
gonna
because it's
have
in
a
Wisconsin. Because it's in Wisconsin, but anyway.
Well, we look forward to seeing that battle, Slothy. That's one thing for sure. All right, so what do you think it would be like if you had the drivers of old? We're talking the White Hammer, we're talking Destroyer. You've driven a while with those guys. Bring in Beloved, who is set to make his debut next season. Speedy, who's already here, he's set to make his full season debut next season. Bring all those old guys back. Combine them with the new guys that are here. What type of lead do you think you have? I mean, do you think you could go to the front, lead laps, win races? What do you think the atmosphere would be like with all those guys back?
They're just going to get used. They're just going to get used to the new cars. The new cars coming next year. They're going to have to get used to the new car and the new setups, the way they have to set their car. It's a lot more different what they're running like over on 15 and 14 and Heat.
Was that hard for you when you first came over this season to set your car up? Was it hard? What'd you end up having to do?
Yeah, but I had to figure it out. I said, I need more tire pressure here, need more wedge here. It was super hard.
So where do you feel you sit right now in terms of the competition level? Where do you sit? Where do you feel you sit? Are you elite status? Do you feel that you're pro status? Or do you feel that you still got a lot to learn at this point?
I still got a lot to learn on the new game. But once I get it down, that 24 car's not winning no more races.
All right.
Whatever
Continues
you
to fire
say,
shot. Continues to fire shot.
Man, so you're saying I'm not winning no more races when you haven't even won a race yet? Are you kidding
Here we
me?
go. Here we go.
Okay,
Like,
we'll
that
find
is
out.
blasphemy. Like, I'm turning into Steve Smith Sr. That is blasphemy.
Here we go. You heard it here first on Club Monster Racing. You
Hey,
heard it here
Fracture,
first.
I'll see you at Richmond.
I'll see you in the wall.
I'll see both of y'all after this broadcast now. Oh my goodness. All right, so Slaughter,
No.
you took the time to reunite with KMR. Obviously, you enjoy racing in this league. So, first of all, would you recommend this league to anyone else, and if so, why?
I would recommend this to anybody because if they like competition, this is a competition. If they like to go full out blown and just be patient and run their race and sit and have a fast car, this is their league.
Salafy, we appreciate you having you on board, man, and everything. And especially since you called out our defending champion, we'll definitely have both eyes on you throughout the whole entire chase as we look forward to season 3 championship. A lot is going to go down, and then of course the off season should be very fun as we transition to new cars, new teams, new ownership, new drivers. Same old KMR. That's it, folks. From Cookie, co-host Fractured Chain, the driver of the 24, we bid you good night. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast. We got you set up for the chase. We even got you had some drivers interviews. There will be more interviews to come, especially interviews in the off season as things shape up to prepare for the Daytona 500 for season 4. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Probably should have said that first. Press that little bell so that you can get instant alerts whenever races go live on Club Monster Racing. See ya.
Yeah.